Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Code to Career AI. I hope you all are doing great. So in this particular video, we'll be seeing how you can do the CRUD operations basically in the database. So we'll be using the PostgreSQL database to understand how this CRUD operations can be done. It looks very simple from the top, but when we start doing it, we can figure out some challenges or we need to understand what all syntax we need to use, right? So in this video, I will be demonstrating how you can do the CRUD operations step by step. Okay. So without further ado, let's start with the problem statement. Let's say you are working on some project, right? And you have to create a table called user. Right now, or these days, using some ORM tools and all, they create the tables, populate the column and all those details. But if we are doing it in a directly in a SQL tool, then you have to understand the syntax as well. So I'm using the PostgreSQL. Using the PG admin, I'm able to access it. So I'm using PostgreSQL 16, and inside that I have a databases. So I have this database called Postgres. Okay. Similarly, I can create more databases under it, or even I can have more servers as well. I can have a remote servers as well. I can provide the connectivity. Let's say you are using the AWS database and you want to access it using your PostgreSQL, right? So you can get the connection details and you can connect from it from here. You can provide all those details. It will authenticate and it will connect it, and you will be able to query it. Okay. Now let's coming back to our problem statement. So you are working on a project and you have to create a table called users. Okay. So for that, let's say you are creating a table. So we have this create keyword. Okay, let me little zoom it. Okay, yeah, create. So since I we want to create a table, so there is a table uh, table constant, we can say the here. Users is a table name. Okay, inside that always a table will have some kind of primary key, right? Using you which you can uniquely identify some particular rows. So primary key here means it will be unique. It won't be null, right? And we will be able to access any particular row using that key. Okay. So I have an ID here. I have an ID, and we are keeping it as serial. We wanted to auto increment kind of thing, and we are calling it as primary key. So ID will be our primary key, and let's say we have a name called username. In the user table, you want to store the username also, and the type here we are calling it as type. Okay, it is text. It and in the ID case it was serial. So we want to make it unique because let's say if you are having some username, no other person will be able to make a same username, right? Whether you are using Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, anything else, right? And we want to make it non-null as well. Similarly, we will have some kind of email, and that will also be text. We are calling it as unique and not null. Okay. So I'm providing some constraints here along with the data type and the name of the column. I can have the password. Okay. Password. Password will not be stored like this in the databases, but for the demo purpose, I am showing it how you can add the columns. Okay. It will be stored in the an encrypted way, and it will have a salt value added to it so that no one will be able to actually read it as well. Okay. So it will also be null, and I'm keeping two fields because let's say you are adding an entry, right? So there will be some always be some created date and updated date. So I'm using a timestamps data type, which will also be not null. And by default, if you are not providing this value, then it will take the current date and time. Okay. So let's say this is created date, and now similarly I have an updated date. Okay, if you're providing, then it is well and good. If you're not providing, then it will take the current date or time. So let's say I want to execute it now. So to execute in the PostgreSQL, either you can select it. Let's say I've selected the text and click on this execute script. When I click on this execute script, it is showing syntax error at line number 8. What is line number 8? So it is showing, okay, we have added this extra comma. Let me run it. So it says create table. It has been successfully created in 89 milliseconds. So if I refresh it here, okay, you can see the table users has been created. Now let's see what content is present in this particular table. So to check that, we use the query called select to read the data table, and use star from users. Users is our table name and all the columns you want to fetch. So if you see, nothing is present, but the table has been created. ID is our primary key, username, email, password created and updated it. Now let's insert some data. We want to insert some data into this table. So the command is insert into, then the table name is users. And then we have to provide what all columns we want to populate. So ID will be populated by itself. So we'll call it as username. Next is email. Next is password. Then this created it and this will updated will populate automatically. And values we need to provide it like this. Let's say the username is Tilak Verma. Okay. And the email is Tilak Verma @ bcci.com. And I have this password. I'm calling it as Tilak @ 123. To execute this query, I have to just select this query and I have to execute it. Okay. Query has been executed. It says it has been inserted successfully. If I again check back the users, right, it should return me a one user and it is showing. And if you see the created date and the updated date, it's showing reflecting, but we haven't provided. So it is taking the default date. So let me add one more user as well. Okay. Let me call it as Rinku. Okay. Rinku Kumar @BCCI, and let's say the password is very simple, Rinku @123. Since I want to execute it, I will run it. Okay. Now I want to run back the select star from users. I have inserted two records. So it says Rinku and Tilak. So till this point, we have learned how we can create the table, how we can select the data from the table, and how we can insert the data into the table manually. Okay. Now let's say if we want to fetch some particular data. Okay. Let's say we want to fetch the data, select star from users, where username is equals to Tilak Verma. I just want to fetch the data of Tilak Verma, whose username is Tilak Verma. Okay. So if I execute it, it has given me just single record, right? So this is how we can do the filtering, or how we can apply this where clause to actually filter out the data. We can do it on the basis of email, right? Password, everything we can do. So this is how we can do the filtering. Now let's learn how we can do the updation, right? Let's say you want to update the password of Tilak Verma. So what you can do is uh, update, update, table name is users, and we want to set, what do we want to set? What we want to set the password, and then let's say the new password is bcci @1234. Okay. And for which person we want to set? For Tilak Verma, where username is equals to Tilak Verma. Okay. So basically we are updating the users. We are setting the password is equals to this for this username. And let's say if I execute this, right? So earlier the password was Tilak @123. Now it will be BCC @1234. So I've executed it. Let's say I just simple fetch it for Tilak Verma. So you will see the password has been updated for this particular column for this Tilak Verma username, but it has not been updated for any other username, right? So this is how we can update the table column details as well. Next thing is how we can delete the data from the table. So there are two things here. Whether we want to delete the data, or whether we want to delete the whole table, includes a schema, all those details. Like we want the table to be deleted completely, right? Not just the data. So if we want to delete the data, we have this delete star from users. Okay. So if I just run it, let me select it. Okay. And it says, sorry, I need not to use delete. I can, sorry, I need not to use star. I can do delete from users. So it says deleted too. So it has deleted both the records. Now, if I just do select star from users, you will not see any record, but you will see the schema still exist. Okay. Basically, the structure still exists. Let's say we want to delete the structure as well. So for that, you need to, what you need to do, you need to write drop table and the table's name. So if I now do drop table users, and if I run this query, it says drop table completed successfully. Now if I try to run the select star from users, what we will get? We will get an error. Why? Because the table does not exist, right? It says user does not exist, right? If I just simply check in the tables also, you will see users has been deleted. So in this video, we have learned how we can create the table, how we can fetch the data, how we can, before fetching the data, how we can insert some data, how we can auto populate the data by default, how we can do a filtering on the basis of columns, how we can update the data for a particular column, how we can delete the table, and how we can drop the table. So in this particular SQL series videos, we will talk more about on other SQL interview based SQL questions, top questions, how we can create triggers, functions, what are other methods, how we can do grouping, cases and all. So you can comment in the comment section what all series videos you need. We will create it for you. So in this video, that's all from our side. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please do consider subscribing our channel. Thank you.